All right, well, welcome to our next installment of our Exploring series, where we explore the idea and the question of why is Christianity so exclusive? We're going to talk about the exclusivity of Christianity today. My name is Casey, and I'm really excited to be able to explore this topic with you today. So the first thing I think we need to do when we ask this topic, many of you I'm sure have probably thought about that question or wondered, man, why is Christianity seemingly so exclusive? So before we get into that, which we will certainly get into, I think it's important to pull back for just a moment and ask ourselves a very important question. And that question is there objective truth? Is there an absolute truth? Because if there is not, why does it really matter? There might be anarchy in the streets. Maybe we just live our own truth. I'm going to live my truth. You live your truth. There's nothing objective that can tell us what right and wrong is, give us an outside picture of how we should live and how we should behave, what we should believe. None of this really matters. Who cares if Christianity is exclusive or any other religion is exclusive? So let's start with that question. If objective truth is possible to obtain, or if it exists at least, then we should be considering how we should understand or what we should be doing to gain this truth, to understand truth. Because truth should inform our lives, right? I know very few people who want to live in a way that's not truthful. That doesn't mean mistakes aren't made and things like that, but we want to live in a way that that our mind and our actions live out truthfully. I think that's normal. So I want to ask ourselves again, what is objective truth? How can we attain it? Should we pursue it? And the answer is yes. And I'll tell you this, many religions give us answers, or at least some answers, to what truth is. Many religions do that. Christianity is not exclusive in that. Many religions will attempt to answer questions like, why is there evil? Why is there pain and suffering? What is justice? How do we attain that? What happens after we die? Or maybe in eternity? What happens then? These types of questions are addressed in varying degrees by many religions. So I think that we can very clearly agree that all religions are exclusive. That's also not exclusive to Christianity. All religions are exclusive. If you believe one set of values, one set of beliefs, therefore you cannot believe the antithesis to those beliefs. I think that flows very logically. That's in many areas we can think that. So when we think about if truth is attainable and we have a specific set of beliefs, every religion has a specific set of beliefs. So what therefore makes Christianity unique in that? And that I think is what we want to tackle more in just a second here. So I would tell you this. I would submit to you that if you got a room of orthodox believers of all different religions in the same room, I would venture to guess that no one would believe that all of their beliefs lead to the same place. They would all believe that their beliefs lead to what they believe will happen, their truth that they believe is correct. That's not unique. That's what every religion believes. So every religion is exclusive in that if you believe in those beliefs, you cannot therefore believe in something else. So again, that's also not unique. And what I'd like to do is talk with you about what Christianity proposes about truth and why exclusivity makes a difference, why it matters in this particular scenario. So, I personally am a big football fan, and I'd like you to just humor me for a moment because it's now football season and I'm super excited about that, of course. And we're going to use a football analogy or sports analogy right now. And just also remember, every analogy is not perfect, but I think it flows pretty well with what we're talking about. So when you use an analogy of you want to go to a big game that's coming up. You know the game's coming up, you're just not quite sure when it's going to happen, where. You're not quite sure what teams are playing, what stadium it's going to be in, but you know there's a big game coming up. It's finally here. So there's a couple of problems that you're going to run into. And of course, we're using multiple religions as an example here. So the first problem that you run into is you know that there are many vendors that are saying, hey, we have tickets to this big game. So how do you get the tickets? Some vendors will say, in order to get this ticket, all you have to do is be a better person than a worse person. Your good has to outweigh your bad. You have to do more good than bad. And if you do that, then you'll have a ticket to the game. Some religions say, you know what? You don't really need a ticket. Every religion, every person that believes in this, you know what? You just can go to the game when it's time. Just show up and you'll get admitted. Other religions might say you have to tell a certain number of people about the big game before you're eligible for a ticket. Some might say, you know what, you have to work hard. You might not earn it, maybe you will, but the only way to know is to show up at the end before game time, and maybe the gatekeeper will let you in. Maybe you've done enough good to be let in, but you really don't know until that time comes. Well, of course, again, we're using the analogy of other religions and what they might believe, but Christianity proposes that you can't have a ticket. There's nothing that you can do that will earn you the right to a ticket. Nothing at all. But yet, there was someone who paid for your ticket for you. That was Jesus. The gospel says that Jesus gave his life. He lived a life that was perfect. He died a death that he didn't deserve for our sin. He took that on, and he defeated death when he raised from the grave on the third day. That's what Christianity proposes, is that all you have to do to get entrance to the game is to show up and say, I can't afford it. I can't pay this debt. But Jesus paid it for me. And you're given a ticket. That's all you have to do. So yes, it's exclusive. There's only one way to get into the big game. There's only one way to know. And it's by going and accepting what Jesus has done. That's how Christianity is exclusive. Like every other religion, it's a set of beliefs that we expect to live by. And thank God that Jesus has done that for us. And so why would we not want to orient our lives around that fact, around the fact that Jesus has done something that we can't do? He's given us admission to the game. All we have to do is go to the ticket booth and say, Jesus paid it. I couldn't. I didn't have to be good enough. My good deeds were not enough, but Jesus was. And I want to leave you with two thoughts. These are from Jesus in Scripture. This is what he says in Matthew 7:13 and 14. Jesus says, you can enter God's kingdom only through the narrow gate. The highway to hell is broad, and its gate is wide for the many who choose that way. But the gateway to life is very narrow, and the road is difficult, and only a few ever find it. That's why the exclusivity of Christianity is important. It's because there is a way. There's not no way to the big game. There's not no way to a truth, no way to eternity. There is a way it's presented, but it's the truthful way. It's the right way. So we have to pursue and explore that truth. The second thing that Jesus says in John chapter 14, in verse 6, he says, I am the way. I am the truth and the life. No one can come to the Father except through me. Jesus again is displaying that there is a way to know truth. So if you want to live in a way that explores truth, what truth is, where you pursue truth, Christianity says Jesus is the truth. Jesus gives the answers to many of those questions that I asked a moment ago, or a little bit ago. Why is there evil? Why is there suffering? There's answers that are beyond the scope of this particular talk that are given in Christianity. And that is why it's important to understand that Christianity, yes, it is exclusive. But thank God we can tell others about what Jesus has done. That Jesus has freely given us the ability to tell others, look, he paid for our ticket to eternity, our ticket to truth, and knowing that it's possible to know truth. So I would ask you consider that today. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day.